Hello and welcome. Silrace here with Heroes of the Storm, and this is Support Sunday. Though if you look at the background footage here, it is actually not a support hero I am playing here. This is just a compilation of some clips of some footage to give you something to watch while I talk about supporting in general, because today I felt like I wanted to simply talk about supporting and not just give you gameplay of me playing a support and commentating it on top of that while playing. And this is because I feel like a lot of time people simply misunderstand supporting in general. Because, well, you have heroes such as Jim Raynor, whom I have already featured in Support Sunday while I made that inspiration-based build, because it is a ranged attack damage dealer hero, which actually has an ability which buffs everyone on your team. It gives them a movement speed, attack speed increase, and it can be coupled, talented up to be a movement speed increase on top of that attack speed increase. So, is that not a form of support? That is a form of support. It is one form of support is to buff your allies, make them better. The same way you have a heroic ability on Rhaegar. You have ancestral healing, which is a single target big massive heal, but you can also pick Bloodlust, which is a team-wide, group-wide buff, which gives attack speed and all sorts of other things. And that is another form of support. You look at a support hero like Tassadar, who really doesn't have heals, but he does other things instead, which support his teammates and actually give teammates either a way to do something better or more often or some such, or he hinders enemies from being able to do something. And that is also part of support. Crowd control is a form of support. Force Wall on Tassadar, one of his two heroic abilities, essentially stops enemies from either engaging you when you place it correctly, when your team wants to run away, or it stops enemies from running away by placing it behind them so they cannot run away, so you can catch up and, you know, do whatever it is you're about to do to them. Some nasty thing which probably leads them to having death timers. That is a form of supporting. Just like if we look at a tank, at a warrior like Diablo. Diablo's overpower is, well, it is crowd control. It flips a hero over onto the other side of Diablo. And that is a form of support, because when a warrior or an assassin runs into your team to the squishy damage dealer, you can flip him onto the other side of your hero. That essentially is a form of support, because it stops the enemy from attacking your teammate, attacking the target he really wants to attack. On the other hand, you can do the opposite of picking a enemy front line, throwing it around you, on the other side of you, to give your teammates, your squishies, a chance to shoot and damage that hero, because it's now in range of them. Because it used to be outside of range, because it was their front line, and now he's behind you on the other side of Diablo to actually be in range for all the damage. Same way you could argue that Illidan can be a support hero, because Illidan, actually Kerrigan receives this as well, an ability which turns their dash, one of their dashes which is normally only targetable to an enemy hero, which can be now used after the talent, used to jump on a friendly hero. Is this not a form of support? Because you can now jump to a friendly to get between the friendly and an enemy, to do body blocking. Because body blocking is also a form of support. You can stop an enemy from getting to your squishy damage dealer, to your almost dead tank, your squishy healer or whatnot, by being between the enemy and the friendly. This is a form of support. Anybody, no matter what hero you are, you can do this. Do you have a low health friendly who is running away to try to survive from the team fight? Especially in late game where death timers are way past half a minute and whatnot. You have full health, get between the two and stop the enemy from chasing them, just make sure that you don't die as well in the process. Because this is a form of support, which absolutely any hero can do. So what exactly is supporting? Supporting is not just having a heal on your hero. Supporting is everything you do which actually aids other teammate, whether directly through a heal or indirectly, such as a stun which affects an enemy, which allows the other hero to either engage or run away or do other nasty things. In the same way, Zeratol's heroic ability, Void Prison, is a support ability. It stops enemies who are in it, but it can also save your entire team by having all of your squishy, almost dead dudes run into it, and then giving you a couple seconds of time to wait on cooldowns or whatnot. Someone with a Bolt of the Storm on cooldown for a couple seconds being hit with a Void Prison to let them live for that long and then able to teleport over a bush, over a wall or some such into a safety thanks to being alive during the Void Prison, and then they are in the Void Prison until their Bolt of the Storm comes out of the cooldown. This is a form of team support which can be used to do just that. The same way Tassadar, for example, when you play Tassadar on a Zeratul or Nova free week, you can absolutely crush every single Zeratul and Nova player by using his anti-stealth ability to simply allow your team to basically most of the time see wherever that hero is. And suddenly it is not very fun for anyone who happens to be playing during the free week. This is something I was doing just for the, you know, easy wins kind of. But it's not something you obviously think about, right? When you think about supporting, when you think about what do I pick for a support hero, you don't necessarily need to have massive heals. Granted, having a heal is really good in the game. It's like being able to give essentially a second life, second health bar to a teammate through an ancestral healing from Rhaegar is absolutely monstrous. It's a massive, it can completely turn a fight, a properly placed heal. But so can a properly placed crowd control. Can absolutely turn a fight. Obviously crowd control is typically much harder to do. Most crowd control in these games is a skill shot of some sort, such as Tyrande's stun or Muradin's stun. Those are skill shot crowd controls. However, there are single targetable stuns on certain heroes. For example, Uther is a complete and utter package of support. He has a stun, which is not a skill shot. He has heals on top of that, and then he can also heal after dying, which is massive. However, when you look and think of this stuff in the future, don't just think of does it have heals? If it doesn't, then it cannot be support. And just like when you play with your teammates, with your friends, with, you know, solo drops, think of ways you can actually aid your teammates. Because it isn't just you. Just like you have to support your teammates, it doesn't matter how random they are, they will in their own way end up supporting you in the process because you are aiding them. You are basically being where they are. Kind of. Engagement, someone drops a stun, that is a form of support from them to you, no matter whatever else you are doing. Are you engaging or disengaging? If someone stuns something, it probably helps you out. And the same way works all over the place. Crowd control is a form of support, just like basically killing the enemies is a form of support, because that means there is less damage on the enemy team to deal back at you. However, damage can be answered with damage, whereas crowd control really cannot be answered to by damage, because crowd control typically prevents damage. And that, I suppose, is the key to supporting. It comes down to preventing damage as well as allowing damage to happen from your team. That's the crowd control aspect of support in a nutshell, or what is usually designed to do. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this week, Sunday, rather, this week's Support Sunday, to get that sentence completely correct, and listening to me ramble about supporting, because I still always think people get this support as a concept wrong. They just purely think of healing and possibly absorption shields, and that's it. But it isn't that simple. Even a slow can be a support ability. Even a bribe on someone like a Jimmy Raynor, which allows him to grab a siege camp without having to fight over it, can be a form of support, because it allows you faster and easier lane pushes just based on how quickly you can take that camp. Anyway, as said, thank you very much for watching.